Hello everyone. Today we are at PiterPy and Галиндесом conference. My name is Vitaly and I'm one of program committee of PiterPy. Today we talk with William. Hello William.
Hello.
Could you tell us who you are, where you're working, and what was your talk about?
Okay, thank you for inviting me to this conference. I work in many things, especially in emerging technologies. I have been developing a career that I have been developer, pre-sales, consultant, sales, but everything in the scope of technology and usually emerging trends, IoT, AI, machine learning. And right now I have been the last 3 years just focusing NLP. Mm-hmm. That's the reason I am here today. I was describing how by using state-of-the-art techniques in deep learning, you can train agents to understand natural language in any language. Because from my industry point of view, where I work and the customers that I interact, the people are biased that if it's not one of these big ones, companies, that they don't offer the service in their language, so they cannot do anything. And yeah. I'm showing that no, you can. You can use Python and Python Plus, some other techniques from machine learning, and understanding this, you can come up with a solution for your domain and for your language.
Mm-hmm. And as I understand, so you have a lot of scope of professions or something you are working on, and it looks like that are you a co-founder of your company, or are you just an employee?
Well, right now, let's say I'm in a duality, but in the past, I co-founded a small company that we were trying to. What we did basically was I had the experience from big enterprise companies, and we were putting it into the SMB segment, where the company with less than 20 employees, but they would like to have, for example, a chatbot, but they can't afford to pay for Watson or these other ones, these kind of things. So, but now, currently, I am working as a consultant, and what I do is more or less solution architecture, where we have to define what the customer wants to do, what can be already leveraged from some out-of-the-box solution, and where do we need to code and fill the gap with custom development. And that's where I am right now, especially in conversational agents and automation.
Could you please talk to our watchers the title of your talk and have some description about it? Okay,
so the talk was about some exploration I have been doing in NLP applied, in which 2 years ago when I moved, I'm from Colombia, but I moved to Prague to study AI in university, and soon I realized that I would plus the theory that is very important, I would like to build something that in this case could help me, but that if I have a need, it means that many people can have the same need, so potentially I could reach more people helping with this. And the thing that I built is that I wanted to start learning Czech, which is a very, very challenging thing if your native language is Spanish, like in my case. And what I found out is that when you go to traditional classroom or you use mobile applications for learning, you are just learning to say some sentences, but it's very difficult to engage in a real conversation because I can learn how to introduce myself, but if you ask me something that I don't have in my memory, then I don't know how to proceed. So I said it will be very cool if I can use the knowledge of NLP to create some sort of a bot, chatbot, that I can use for myself, that is going to represent or act as a person, that I can have countless conversations, I can try different vocabulary and be prepared to the unexpected reply. That is what happens in real life. So more or less what I did is an agent that is impersonating a person who speaks Czech, and I chat with this person and I have different set of dialogues that are relevant. For example, if I go to the doctor, there is a set of words and
questions that doctor could ask.
Yes, and if I go to a restaurant or if I go to a bank, so I use Python. I scrubbed the web. I downloaded dialogues in Czech, dialogues from books, menus from Czech restaurants, and I created a language model for my use case in which I select, for example, I would like today to practice how is it when you go to a doctor in Czech Republic. So then the agent can tell me there are lots of dialogues, and the cool thing is that it's like some sort of training that I do with this agent that I have seen when then I move to real life. In this case, I am the agent on production when I go to real life. And then I say, oh, okay, this was something that I remember the bot told me once, so I could understand and I could process in real life. So I've been introducing this because it was quite exotic in the beginning, because in the company, one company that I was working, they wanted to do something, but this big one company, their NLU system is that they don't have yet, for example, Estonian, Czech, Slovak. So it was interesting to say, oh, but can you do it, or do you not have to wait for it? Yes, you can do it, but there is some work that you need to do, like scraping data from the web, but it's totally doable. So from my use case of building something to help myself to train dialogues, there are different use cases that you can derive from there.
Yeah, that's very interesting technology. Is it something that could be used in production? Do you have some, I don't know, site or service where everyone could check it and use it?
Yes, I have one instance running that I can later, I don't know if there is some distribution list, and it will be very useful for me because I'm logging all the messages and I'm logging when the conversation, for example, was stuck, and I can use this to retrain the model and enhance.
Make it better.
Yeah.
That's nice. So machine learning is very growing last years. So and I don't know what. Do you know why? Maybe because I think that it's because technologies become cheaper and everyone could use them, and we don't need supercomputers to make calculations. We need some computers with good GPU where we can make calculations, and it's become not so expensive as I think. Do you think it's?
Yep, that's one of the reasons. The hardware today, you don't necessarily need to buy hardware. You can go to Google Colab and you can select one GPU there in Jupyter Notebook, and you can train a model. So hardware is one thing. Second is quite that after all these years creating data, there are data sets, because
a lot of data sets that can be
exactly, because the concept of machine learning is not new. It's a set of algorithms that you learn a classifier, supervised and supervised. But these things now you can try them and test them because you have data to play with this. And the other reason I see is that there is a strong effort from different companies to create layers of abstraction. So people that they are not necessarily machine learning engineers.
Have a technical degree for.
Yeah, they can start using it. For example, for bots, there are different libraries that, yes, it helps if you understand the concept behind the recurrent neural network, attention model, all these things, and what you are doing under the hood. But today, any random person with decent knowledge of programming language, they can consume an API and start playing with the algorithm. So it's the technology, as you mentioned, the availability of data, and the layers of abstraction to make these concepts
easier to
like TensorFlow, for example, and this.
And what do you think about future of machine learning? Because last time we see that it's appeared a thing called deepfakes that use machine learning to fake the faces on the videos. And it's not for someone a good line where machine learning goes. So do you think that there would be some, I don't know, regulation, or maybe how do you see the future of machine learning? Do we, when we are going to have a good artificial intelligence that will make many things and will be not Something that we read in science, in some books.
Don't worry. No, I think the hype is going down of machine learning and AI, because people are, let's say, the more you use it, is this like hyper cycle of technologies. It's being clearer what is the problem that you can really solve with these techniques, and these overinflated expectations, they are becoming less inflated. That's one thing. And second is that this is the moment, it is supposed to be from before, but this is the best moment in which conversations about the ethics in AI, they need to be brought to the table right now, because you don't really need to go that far. For example, in some of the use cases I have worked, is that you need to select or segment candidates for a job, and if the algorithm can be biased against someone, for example, with a weird name, because probably there are not so many training or test training data of this person with this name that was hired before. So the algorithm is like dismissing you, not because of your skills, but because of your name in some cases. So this thing is like, okay, the algorithm is doing what
so we are currently in that place when we should
so now we should step back and think, how can we bring ethics into this field? Because as you were mentioned with your example of the deep fakes and this, I mean, this is something that I still a bit oblivious of what could be the worst scenarios, but what I know is that we should bring this topic to the table, and also not fear that much. It's not it's math applied, statistics, and there is a risk, yes, of through automation and lose jobs and all these things. But I just think that it's just another leap in which you need to reskill yourself and learn how to interact with these new technologies and new business models that are open when you bring these technologies into the industries. But yeah, no terminators. Yeah.
Okay, and what and what do you think when we will have some? Maybe it's just to guess, because you are working with machine learning and know at the edge of technology, and saying, is it how much time is to take us to have some real artificial intelligence that will pass some tests that we cannot detect if it's human or not?
Difficult.
Is it possible in the near future? How do you think?
I don't think so that in the near future, because let's say that the definition itself of intelligence, to date, there is no real intelligent machine that is displaying signals of intelligence like a person. This is, I mean, I might be wrong, but this is still today, with the state-of-the-art things, the most advanced being, for example, in the field of reinforcement learning, is not like true intelligence, like you are, the machine is intelligent. But going back to, with this question and a bit of the previous one of the things that I consider right away is very important, and is one step in the sequence of this field, is when you take this to the edge. So just last week or this week, I don't remember, TensorFlow released a library that is very light, and you can easily run it in a microcontroller. So you don't really need a cloud server with all this processing, or it's going to be possible soon, and it will become also a commodity that you can run classifiers or machine learning models in a device that is not necessarily powerful.
Yeah,
this is one of the things that if I want to focus in something for 2020, I will do this. I will say, okay, now all these things that we have been learning and playing in a big server, let's find use cases.
How we can use it in real life with
exactly in a small device.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, William. So that was one of my questions. To say what's impressed you much, because we have an end of the year near, so it's November and New Year is soon. What's impressed you most this year?
Wow, that's very difficult. That's a very difficult question. In technical side,
it's not depends on, I don't know, science, technical, maybe something The example is, I don't know, Elon Musk moved car to the space. It's very impressive for someone. And what's impressed you most?
For me, and a bit tied with what we have been discussing, is the danger that can be out there with the fake news and all this data that can bias the people and make them behave in certain ways. Because let's say that this is a real challenge today, as you were mentioning with the deep fakes, the fake news and all these things. So more than the ability to be able to execute this, what I am impressed this year is how easy it is to drive public opinion based on bots running in Twitter, in Facebook, and you can have, I mean, you don't know what could happen if you drive the opinion based on that. So this is impressive.
Yeah, and
we need critical eye for these things.
Yeah, and this some kind you talk that we should put this on the table and discuss to do with that ethical questions of that stuff. And maybe, I don't know, you're looking at the post at Facebook and you don't know is it fake or not.
Yeah,
it's another problem that you could not trust. You should always think is it true or not.
Yeah, challenging.
Yeah. Okay, William, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice to meet you.